Good morning. This is Praveen, your host for today's webinar, and I hope that all of you are keeping safe and healthy in these challenging times. So in today's discussion, I will be showcasing how the Unwired Mobile EAM, along with the digital forms solution, is helping businesses transform their plant maintenance processes. In short, helping them replace paper with your mobile devices. So some instructions to all the participants as we start off. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A option in the panel, and I will address all these questions at the end. And for all those who are interested in a free proof of concept, so we have that special offer for you as well. So that's me, Praveen, the VP for Products at Unwired. So if you have any questions, please feel free to mail directly to me. So the agenda for today's discussion, so a brief introduction to Unwired and its solutions, and we're also going to have a live demo followed with the question and answers. So a little bit about Unwired. So Unwired is a Houston headquartered company with its R&D in Bangalore, India. So we have customers all over the world, as you can see from the slide here, and we also have some very interesting partnerships with some interesting companies. So Unwired has a wide range of offerings when it comes to its digital solutions. In today's discussion, we'll be showcasing the mobile SAP EAM and the digital form solution. But apart from that, Unwired also has a lot of solutions in the the inventory management space or the sales and distribution, direct software delivery. We also do a lot of custom app development, peripheral device integrations, and we also have a few chatbot solutions. So some of the recognitions that we have received over the years, and as recently as this year, so our solution has been certified by SAP for integration with both S/4HANA and SAP ECC. So Unwired is not focused on just one industry or one solution. So as you can see from the slide, so we have some marquee customers across industry verticals. So yeah, just a few names out there. So what are the key differentiators when it comes to Unwired vis-a-vis our customers, right? I mean, our competitors. So the most important differentiator is that we deliver tangible value to our customers at a very competitive price point. And all of our solutions, we are very flexible in terms of our deployment model. We can deploy all our solutions remotely. And we are very flexible and responsive when it compares to the big boys and girls out there, right? So let's have let's talk about the solutions for today's discussions. So the Unwired mobile plant maintenance for SAP. Some of the salient features are listed out here on the slide. The solution is can be deployed both on cloud and on-premise. It is cross-platform, so you can run it on any of your devices of your choice. We have peripheral device integrations, so you can connect it to your RFID readers, handle barcode scanners, and it's completely offline capable, allowing you to connect to any of your document management systems or a simple FTP server as well. We have different modes in which you can visualize this application. It can be a list detail view or it can be a map-based navigation. So we are very flexible when it comes to the usage of this application. So let's briefly look at what really happens in a plant when it comes to maintenance activities, right? So you have the planner who plans the work for a week or a month, assigning work packages to these work orders. He prints out all these instructions for each work order, and then sends it out to the supervisor. The supervisor then takes all this consolidated work, and then he picks up individual crew members to actually execute the task. The crew people then go onto the field, complete all the tasks which have been listed on the piece of paper, record all the tasks completed in terms of time used, the materials issued, and finally they come and file it in at the end of the day, maybe at the end of the week, depending on how the process is in a particular company, right? And then it gets filed in once it has been scrutinized by the respective crew members. So what Unwired does is all of these manual activities and paper-based processes are something which is completely replaced with a mobile app. And all the paper-based processes, we substitute that with the mobile digital forms solution that we have. So this is just a typical maintenance process in a plant. So the two solutions that we're talking about today is the Unwired Mobile Work Orders app and the Turboforms solution. So the Turboform solutions, the application that we have works both independent and in conjunction with the mobile work order application. And both these solutions can also integrate with SAP S/4HANA as well as ECC. So this slide just talks about what the mobile work orders does for you. We will probably look at this a little more in detail when we actually do the demo. So I'll just quickly go over this slide. Similarly for the Turboform solution. So I mentioned to you that the Turboforms application works independently of the EAM app, which means that this solution can be used for business units other than just SAP related processes. So it could be in HR, it could be in sales, pre-sales activities, inspections and checklists. Any process that you want to have which is outside of SAP can also be completely digitized using the Turboform solution. So some of the popular use cases for the digital form solution is mobile data entry, inspections, audits, checklists, master data entry, master data changes, compliance, audits for environmental agencies. So a lot of these processes, which generally do not have a dedicated application or an enterprise system, and which is all done ad hoc on paper, are very good use cases for us to consolidate them in under one solution, which is the digital forms application. So here we're just talking about some of the business benefits of using our solutions, or even just going digital, where you can. The most important benefit, of course, is you can focus on doing your real work rather than spending time on the implementing the execution of the process itself. So, and of course at a very low operational cost with large productivity gains for your crew members. So before we get into the live demo, just wanted to briefly talk about a couple of customer case studies. So one of the one of the use cases was that one of our customers in USA and Europe, they were capturing all the observations in a particular plant of the defects in equipment or any maintenance related activities on a piece of paper. And they were filing it in for the supervisor to scrutinize them and then finally create notifications in SAP for maintenance or repair. So we used the EAM application along with the digital forms piece to create these forms specifically for each plant, and in 8 different languages for their plants across both Europe and USA, and completely eliminated the use of paper, and helped in a lot of productivity gains for that particular customer. So I'll show you a bit of this in the live demo subsequently. Another use case was the use of work permits, digital work permits for the maintenance technicians in the field, but the operators have to give the permits before they can actually execute their tasks in the field. So the digital work permits enabled a central place from where these permits could be issued and then accepted by the the maintenance crew before they could actually get into the field, right? So these are some of the interesting use cases that we are solving for our customers using the mobile EAM as well as the digital forms piece. So I will send you the slide with more details on the use cases itself. So let's dive straight into the demo, and I'll just walk you through what this solution really looks like. So I hope all of you can see my screen right now. So what you're seeing is my Android tablet which is running the Unwired Mobile EAM application. So when I launch the application, you see that it has a few tiles, and each tile provides you access to one functionality in the area of plant maintenance in SAP. So this is a role-based application, which allows you to do inspections, execute jobs which have been assigned to you, help you create notifications, generally look at the technical object hierarchy of the plant that you're working in, and also, look at the forms which have been, the paper-based forms which have been replaced with the digital alternatives. So let's quickly get into the overview of the solution before we get to the forms. The technical object hierarchy. So every technician works in a particular plant, and he would like to have access to all the equipment and the function locations which exist in that plant, right? Along with the maintenance, spare parts, manuals, and service manuals and all of that. So here you see a list of all the function locations for that user. If I get into the one of these items, I would look at the details of that function location. If there are any sub-items or any historical maintenance available, orders and notifications. I can look at the tree view, wherein I can look at the hierarchy and then say that, okay, this is the main plant under which I have all these substructures, and I can drill down into each one of these substructures, pump stations, and look at all the equipment installed in each one of these locations, right? And from here, I can also, get into the details of the equipment itself, and then look at the, general data, maintenance information, manufacturer details. If this equipment has any sub-items, I would also see that. And historical data, if I want to download it, I can always download all the historical maintenance which has been carried out on this particular equipment. So that's how simple it is, to look at the hierarchy in your plant. So this is the function location view. You can also look at the equipment view. In this equipment view, you have the list of all the equipment again. You can get into the equipment out here. And then you can also look at the attached documents along with the equipment. So these documents can come from any DMS, OpenText, SharePoint, FTP servers, no problem. You can just open the document, take a look at it. It could be a PDF. You can just skim through it. So yeah, so any document, doesn't matter. It's available for you offline, completely on your device. So offline is very important here because when you're working on a rig with no connectivity, you want to have all the information that you need to execute a job in the field, right? So let's say the technician, he's using this device, and then he finds a problem with a particular equipment. So he gets into the equipment here and then says, okay, I want to create a notification. So create a notification, pump malfunction. So you can just put a notification type. If it's a maintenance request, you can do that, and you will have a few fields that you need to fill. But if it's really a breakdown, it's a malfunction, then you may have some additional fields that you may have to fill. For example, the malfunction data. So let me just create a simple maintenance request with a priority, let's say medium, and then I say additional details. And then I save it, right? So once I've done that, I can also get into the place where I can create images, documents for it. So I say I'm going to use a camera and then take a picture. So I say, okay. If I want to annotate it, I can actually do the annotation. And I can save it. Once I'm done, so that's how simple it is to actually create a notification for an equipment, faulty equipment in the field. And any notification that I create from the context of the equipment will be sitting in the notification style out here. And I can go and add more details if I want to for that particular notification. So you can see that this is a new pump malfunction notification. It's a new, there's no SAP number assigned to it. And there's a button here to actually for me to submit it. So if I want to create, add more details, I can always go in there. I can, if I want to capture the object part, damage code, and all of that information, I can do that if I want to. But if I'm happy without that information, I can always go here and then do a submit. So when I submit this, this notification gets submitted to the SAP system. And as you can see here, the color changes to orange, which means it has been queued in the background while I continue to work on my other parts of the application. I could go ahead and then go execute my work order, for example. So whenever the information is back available, so that information, that number would be updated in the notifications tile. So 100027118. So let's quickly see if that notification got really created, right? 1002718. So here, this is a notification, pump malfunction, additional details. So if I go here and look at the attachment list, so here we have configured the DMS as the generic object services. So we see that the notification has been created in SAP along with the attachment. As simple as that. Thing is the work orders. So once you've created the notifications, you also have the work orders. So work orders, basically what happens here is the user gets the copy of the work order along with the instructions. Each operation contains the work that needs to be done, right? So for any other information that the user needs information to execute the job in the field, generally what happens is you create a smart form with all the details of the data, or you have additional PDFs or documents which are attached to the work order, and additional forms which are created, which the user can then fill in the field, right? So here in the Forms tab, what you're seeing is the ability to replace all those paper-based forms with the digital representations. And while you're executing the job in the field, along with the operations and other general instructions that you have on the work order, you can create these digital representations of the paper-based form. For example, equipment inspection. I want to create an equipment inspection along with this work order, and I would also want to create a safe work permit for this work order, right? So I create two instances of these forms, and I go ahead and then start filling these forms, right? So I go into the equipment inspection, and then it loads the form, and then it allows me to pick and choose values. So instead of having to write these values on a piece of paper, I'm actually using the rich controls to pick values which are suggestions to the user, rather than allowing the user to make mistakes while picking it up. So if you see this equipment field here, let's say if you have equipment with RFID tags or barcode or QR code stuck on them, you can always use the barcode scanning option to actually scan the barcode, or manually type in the equipment number, for example, 1234, right? So that basically is trying to eliminate the mistakes that you could really make in the field. You could also capture signatures of the user on the form. You can fill in all these inspections that you have completed, and if there are any issues, you can record those issues. And finally, final comments you can enter there. And if you really want to, put an image user camera to take a picture and embed it in the form, you could do that as well. I can take a picture, and that picture gets embedded within the form itself, which I can then complete and then submit it along with the work order. So as you can see here, this form has been completed, and I have associated this form with this particular work order. So no more paper in the field, but everything has become digital. Similarly, I can also have work permits which are created for a particular work order, and this can be done when the work order is in a particular state. So let's say if the operations before releasing the work order for the maintenance crew to actually pick up and then start working on, they can put a work permit on it, and then put in all the instructions, and then release the work order, which can then be picked up by the maintenance crew to actually execute their task in the field, right? So it's as simple as that. And what you're seeing here is whatever fields that are mandatory, right, have been marked out here. So you can have all these validations, which we did not see in the previous form, right? So I'm just filling in some of these fields out here. Equipment, as you can see here, the equipment, unlike in the previous form, this equipment list is filled from the information that you already had in the device. Because you're working in this particular plant, all the equipment which are in that plant are listed in this combo box. So you can just pick and choose that instead of making a mistake when typing that information in, right? So you fill in all the other fields for the work permit, and then you sign off, and then you can also capture some additional fields out here, 8, 6, and 7. Okay, sign here. You can add as many rows of data as you want. One of the advantages of using the digital forms is you're not bound by the amount of space that you have on a piece of paper, right? So these forms are very dynamic. They can expand to as many rows and as many pages as you want to. So there is absolutely no restrictions there. And once you have...
Praveen, can I add a comment here?
Yes, Alok, sure, please go ahead.
Yeah, so one of the cool things about this solution is that it has a drag and drop form builder. So any business analyst in your teams can actually take your paper form and make these forms digital. You do not need to come to Unwired and pay us to build these forms. An IT or business analyst, business user can create their own form with simple drag and drop. I just wanted to put that, just mention that. So back to you, Praveen.
Okay. So once we have associated these forms on the work order itself, the work order can be submitted just like the way we did the notifications, right? So here we have the submit button here, and then I'm just going to submit this work order. So here I'm just showing you how the forms is getting integrated with the order itself. You also have a material confirmation, time capture, and all of these additional functionality, which of course is already a part of the application. But since the focus is on the forms piece, I'm just showing you only that part of it. So once this has been submitted, so we see that the color changed from orange to white, which means the synchronization is completed. And now if I switch back to the SAP system, you would be able to see these forms associated with that. So we're looking at 820220, that's the work order. If I get into the work order and then look at the attachment list here, you would see that there are 3 forms which have been submitted. We have the equipment inspection, safe work permits, and another equipment inspection. So I'm just going to open this form out here, and you would see that the link to that form which I just submitted is available in the context of the work order for you to see with whatever information that I have filled on this particular form, right? So all my signatures and whatever have been captured out here. If I go to the next equipment inspection, so the equipment inspection with my signature, with today's date, with the equipment number, and all the fields which have been filled, along with the picture that was embedded within the form, all of this information is available for you in the context of the work order itself. So you can access all of that contextual information from within the SAP system itself. Now, you may be wondering, how difficult or how easy is it to actually be able to do this? So all this is made possible using the Unwired digital forms solution. So these digital forms can be constructed very easily by any business analyst, like Alok was mentioning earlier. So using this administration console out here. So this dashboard allows you to manage all your users in the forms application. You can have users created or imported into this form solution. You can create teams so that groups of people can collaborate on particular forms. You can have forms associated with teams so that you can say that, okay, look, my plant in the US has these people and they are allowed to use only these forms, whilst my team in the Europe has certain other forms, and I will assign only those forms to them. So that categorization is very simple. It's possible. And when it comes to creation of these forms itself, you can create multiple categories of these forms. You can have maintenance forms, you can have permits, you can have safety. So the reason why I picked these 3 is because these 3 categories are what we used in the EAM solution. And all the other categories that you see are used independently outside of the EAM solution. So what I'm trying to say here is the form solution is not dependent on the EAM application, but exists independently of the EAM. But the EAM application can also, collaborate or, work jointly with the form solution to enable the transformation of paper-based processes to digital. So I'm just going to pick, one of these, maintenance forms that we said, the maintenance equipment inspection, right? Now, how easy is it to build these forms? So I just get into the form, go to the design page, and in the design page, you can see that you have a rich set of controls, which we have here. And you have a nice drag and drop forms builder, and you can drag and drop controls onto this design layout here. And you can start editing and then building your form. So anybody with business process knowledge can easily do this. So we have basic controls here, then we have advanced controls with email, URL, and all of that. And we have data here where you can have grids, tree views, and containers and all that. And you also have premium controls here where you can do your barcode, scanning, file, pictures in the camera, and all of that stuff. So let's say, for example, what are you inspecting, right? I just want to edit this here. And then I say, in the display, what are you inspecting? And I just put a question mark here, right? I put a question mark there, and then I save it, and then you can preview it very easily right there. And then here again, what are you looking for? I probably just go here and then, put a question mark there. Immediately the preview is available out here for you to see. I save it. And once I'm happy with what the form looks, I can just save it. And once I save it, I can test it right here in the admin console. You can see the form, the changes have been reflected, and then I can, publish this particular version of the form, right? Corrections, and then I publish it. So once I publish this, what happens is this new revision is available for you to download on the application as well. So if I just switch to the mobile device out here, and then if I just go back to the forms page, so if you go to the forms view here, you can see that the equipment inspection is currently on version 2. And if I go inside here, you can actually get a preview of this particular form. What are you inspecting and what are you looking for, right? Just go back here and then I just do a download, wherein I can get the latest version of the work permits, from the or the forms from the system.
So Praveen, let's take a minute and then open it for questions. Do you want to highlight anything related to the work order app? Let's just like important features before we take questions. I think this. Go ahead.
Yes. So yeah, just this update was done. So we have these changes that we made in the portal available on the device. And we have version 3, right? So that's how simple it is for you to evolve these forms, iterate them, and then publish them to the field very easily. And as far as the other functionality in this EAM solution is concerned, you can also do inspections. We have the rounds functionality, wherein you can do your daily operator rounds, wherein you capture some KPIs on equipment in the field. For example, the operating temperature can be 32 degrees, and then the operating hours, you can say 100. And I can save it. And then another one here, operating hours 21.
I think that's fine. I think, the measuring points can be captured. That point is well made. Yeah. And anything on work orders, time entry, confirmation, material, spare parts, we can do all that, right?
Yes, all of that is possible, like I talked about it earlier. So here you have the operations. In the operations, you can do your time capture. You can start a clock here, and you can say that I want to start capturing time on operation number 10. At the moment you do that, you have a clock running. It says, 0 minutes executed. You can pause and stop. So if you pause, you can go for your lunch, come back, and then restart your work. So when you do that, you can do a play again, then it stays running again. And once you've done with your work, you can say stop, and then you have, the time that gets confirmed against this particular operation.
Right. So I think we are coming to our 30 minutes. We have actually there. So let's open it for questions. So I guess, so Sheila, everybody can ask questions, right? Lines are open. Can you unmute everybody, I guess?
Yes, so I have questions out here. So I have a question from James. NFC, if the device is so capable. Yes, we can do NFC as well. NFC, or if you have any handheld RFID readers, barcode scanners that you want us to integrate with, that is also possible. So all of that is something which we can definitely support as a part of the solution, not an issue. another question that we have is how compatible are the forms with phones? So this application that you're seeing right now, I'm using my Android tablet to actually project it on the screen. But you could also have the same application rendered on a 5-inch device or a 6-inch device, Android or iPhones, not a problem. The same application can also be, rendered on your laptop, on your Windows UWP applications. That is possible. And the same solution is also available for you to use on the browser. So the solution is completely responsive, and we support all form factors for you to use it with.
Right. And a quick reminder before people start dropping off, we are offering a free proof of concept to all the people who have attended the webinar, whether it's for digital forms alone or the mobile app for work for SAP or a combination. Happy to discuss that. Just send us an email. We'll anyway send you a link to this and you can respond to us. So any more questions? Either you can text us or unmute yourself and feel free to ask any question. Yes, conclusion to this presentation, to this webinar, we will send you the presentation deck, and happy to discuss with you a free POC. And feel free to reach out to either Praveen or me. Our details with me. I forgot to introduce myself. Many of you know me. This is Alok Pant. I'm the CEO of Unvired based in Houston, and Praveen is our leader in EAM. So with that, I think Praveen, I think we can conclude this webinar. Thank you for your time, Praveen, and thank you to all the participants. And as I said, we'll send you the deck and hope to collaborate with you with a free POC. Thank you for your time today. Have a good day.